Dustin Tibbetts here, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth Managers. How you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. This is a quick series we do called FinTips. I go through stuff real quick for you, maybe give you something new you never learned before, and send you on your way, hopefully, to go check us out at jazzwealth.com. I appreciate that and all the support from everybody. Very hard to get new customers out there, and I appreciate everyone who's given us a shot, jazzwealth.com. Anyways, hey, the markets are a bit volatile right now. You got elections coming up, and it's perceived, or it's assumed that the market is going to be even more volatile. They even have us prepping to not know who's going to win the election on election night. So the markets are starting to price that in. It's getting a little bit messy right there. So that leads to the question, like, why should I invest now? Why should I start now? Should I wait? So today what I'm going to give you is 4 reasons to start investing now, and then maybe a few that you probably don't want to start investing now if that means that you're in this case here. So here we go. I won't waste your time. Number one, the number one and easiest reason why you want to start investing now is so you can support yourself in retirement and you don't have to live with your kids. Remember, your kids, they didn't clean their room. My daughter's a mess. I get hurt when I go in her room, so I don't want to live with her. I want to be comfortable. I want to live my own retirement. Here's what we got. We'll go over to the board. Social Security. Average Social Security payment right now is $1,500 a month or $18,000 a year. It's not horrible. For, you know, if you don't have debts and stuff, it's not too bad, but it's not going to cut it there. So here's the difference. Let me show you some of the math here. I'm going to do, we'll start with a 30-year-old that wants $50,000, and they're also expecting at least the average there in terms of Social Security. A 30-year-old using, let's say, a Roth IRA, they've got to save $54.08 a year. Well, $54.08 in the first year, and then they raise it by the level of inflation. You've seen the videos that I've done there. So if you're 30, that's all you got to save. Sounds like a lot. It's not that bad, because check this out. If you wait until you're 35 and you started then, same $50,000, same Social Security, what's the number? $73.15. Now we're starting to add up here, right? So the big difference, the earlier you can start, the better off you get there. Hey, look at that. I did 40. And I did 45 for you as well, all with the same assumptions in here, 50,000, Social Security and everything, average Social Security expected for a single person. You got 10,133, holy cow, that's almost double what you got above there if you waited just 10 years. And then you got 14,457. If you waited until you're 45. So that's a good reason to get started right now, actually. I mean, if you haven't saved anything, if you've got a 401k and you've been putting it off because the paperwork's a mess and they make these weird languages, yeah, you might want to check it out there. So that's a good reason to get started, even if you inch in slowly because you're a little bit nervous about the market. Tip number 2. Oh, boy. Hey, we just want to live better in retirement. This is so simple. I hear the radio show every day when I go home. There's this financial advisor. Oh my God, it's calming. That's why I listen to it, because he puts me to sleep. And he just talks about having a plan and never really gets to anything, and it's super boring though. But here's the details when I say it, right? If you want to live better in retirement, the idea is if you did get started earlier, you don't have to save as much. If you don't have to save as much, it means you have more free dough. If you have more free dough, it means you can keep your bills straight. You could pay your loans off. You could keep your debt low. You could save up an emergency fund and never get tricked, you know, or like we have the virus downturn, you need your emergency fund. It allows you to do that. Maybe get your house paid off and a rental house or something because you started early and you don't have to save as much. If you're 30 and you think 5408 sounds high, wait till you're 40. Now you're stable, you got more of a job, 401k. That'll seem like child's play. But if you wait, then it becomes a little bit tougher. So tip number 2, we want to live better in retirement, and that is specifically how you do it because it frees up that extra dollars when you know those numbers there. Number 3, you may want to retire early. Do you know how many 30-year-olds come to me and they say, what's my number? I tell them the number and they're like, oh, that's to retire at 65, right? By the way, that number's to retire at 65. And they go, well, let's try 60, right? So if you start early enough, you may be able to actually retire early. Hey, look at that. I got some numbers for you. If you started at 30, you know you got to save $54.08 to retire at 65. If you wanted to shoot for 59, this new number becomes $89.20. So not a huge difference there. It's got to be monstrous down there if you waited till 45 and you're like, hey, I want to retire at 55 or 59. You're talking over $20,000 at that point a year that you have to save. So by starting to invest now, however old you are, you're locking sort of in that number, give or take, and it allows you to go pay off your debts and things, and possibly retire early. Maybe these 401k matches come back, and well, that'd be sweet if they did that. I know a lot of places have cut that, but we'll see what happens there. Tip number 4, maybe you'd be able to help out your family. Get a cleaner for your daughter so they could clean their room, for God's sakes. Maybe you'd be able to gift some money earlier before you pass away, because you've seen the video that I did where I talked about that. If Joe Biden wins the presidency, it could be that taxes go up in a specific way like that, so I covered that for you. You may be able to help them prepare for college. You may be able to help them start their family. That fun stuff that we like to do with our money when our kids get older versus just taking them to play soccer all the time, right? So you may be able to help out your family in more tax-efficient ways by starting to save and for retirement early there. So that's another one. Those are the 4 reasons, actually, and trying to be a little more detailed today. There are great reasons why you don't want to start saving for retirement. And one of them is if you have a large credit card balance. If you happen to have lots of student loans, those are 2 very dangerous types of debt. We got to bring them down, right? If you look at your credit cards and you're paying 15, 17, 20, 24% interest, it's hard to justify investing for retirement when you've got that beating your balance sheet to death, your personal balance sheet. So look at your credit card debt, come up with a plan for that, knock it out, get it at least paid down to where it's manageable, where you could knock it out at any point. Then we can start focusing on retirement. You'll like that a lot better. If any advisor tells you to just dive in and start saving for retirement, they've got something to sell. So that's tip number 1. And the second reason you might not want to save for retirement is pretty straightforward. Emergency savings. We just went with the virus, the markets went down, your job, you kind of lost hours and things like that. You needed cash. The government happened to give you a little cash, but what? Why are they doing that? You should have your own money. So emergency savings is very tough to start saving for retirement if you don't have the cash saved up. I see it all the time. Kids get excited, you're in your 20s and 30s, like, I got to save for retirement. Here we go, stock market, I love it. And then they blow a tire in their car and they're like, well, I guess I got to take that out of my Roth. Why? Save your money first. Build up a little emergency savings. Maybe do things to do both. Start slow retirement and save more over here in emergency savings, but you got to do it. So those are a couple reasons you might not want to get started for retirement investing. But the bottom line is, you see the numbers there. If you've been waiting to start, naturally this is marketing. I hope you choose us and you start with us. But no matter where you go, at least you kind of see where you're at. I hope it helps motivate, push you in the right direction there. And if you are thinking Jazz Wealth, you know where to find us. We're here all the time. We like to teach, yada, yada, marketing this and that. I wish you a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, we'll see you later.